It is I, Tony fucking Lee. Not gonna lie to you guys, I've been going through a pretty big slump. I've had something personally happen to me the last week and a half or so, and it coincided with like a party that I got invited to, and I hadn't had a sip of alcohol in like 3 months. Hadn't gone out to like a club or a bar, or, like properly socialized with anyone. So it was good timing with this personal thing going on, and I went out, and that kind of triggered this thing with it for the last probably 5, 6 days. I've been the most unproductive, laziest person in my life. Um, and it doesn't feel great because I had such big goals and I was on such a good roll for a specific reason. You know, I before I started posting every single day, like that version of myself wanted to be that person that I got myself to, and then I kind of got myself back into a slump where I was doing the actions and habits that like that older version of me was doing. And it took a few days for me to realize that like what I was doing was getting bad and like I had to quickly control it. But for whatever reason, when I tend to get into my slumps or when I tend to get into a rut or a period of my life where nothing's going great, I'm not sticking to my routine, I'm waking up later than usual, my diet's a little off, I'm skipping gym sessions or whatever. It's it's really hard to identify in the moment what is going wrong or how to actually stop, because it feels like the momentum is just falling back on top of you. And what I did today, like it's like I woke up earlier and I didn't give myself the pressure. I journaled actually, and I re-journaled. I just had to re-clarify my goals, and the over the last 5 days to a week, I hadn't been journaling. I hadn't been refamiliarizing myself with the goals, with the actions I need to do, why I was doing it. You know, I dropped the good habits, and surprise, I got myself into a rut, and I felt confused. I felt lost. I didn't realize how I was supposed to get out of it. And so what I did today was I just journaled and I just identified the smallest thing I could do today. You know, and I didn't give myself the pressure. I told myself what would be a day for you where you would feel fulfilled. And for me, that's going to the gym, great, making a video, and then maybe learning or reading for an hour. That's it. That only equates to around like 3 hours a day. And the reason why I think I got myself into a rut in the first place was because I was getting so overwhelmed with the amount of like tasks and other things I was adding to my routine. And instead of becoming just focusing on being really good at doing the 3 hours of work and just consistently doing that for a few months, I got too ahead of myself. I thought I was ready to pick up more tasks and more workload and more things to do. I just kept adding more things to the fucking list, and I confused myself. It just wore me down. And I was getting so unfocused and unmotivated. I didn't want to do the work because I could already mentally feel all the other things that I had to do, and I just couldn't be fucked to do anything to begin with. Now, this is something that like maybe not many people think like this, but I know for myself and people with ADHD in particular, like after consuming things that felt so good in the moment, and then you're trying to break the bad habits and you go back into good habits, the last thing you want to do is then overwhelm yourself with all these different tasks that's going to take a lot of time and delayed gratification. You want to ease yourself back in, and you want to build a really good habit for yourself to just continue working instead of like overwhelming yourself and dumping all these other unnecessary things that don't actually provide you the results you want. In this case, I want to focus on building my business, becoming better at creating YouTube videos and telling a better story, making them more valuable, you know, becoming more disciplined and consistent. It's very simple, but I was adding all these unnecessary other tasks. I was like, oh, I want to focus on this. I want to read this book because I want to improve this side of my life as well. Like, it's really hard. And I don't think many people, at least for myself, I can't multitask, guys. I'm very good at focusing on one specific task at a time. And I went against my own rule, and I went into a rut, a slump. And so the solution is just identify the most important actions you have to do. What would be your version of a fulfilled day? And that doesn't mean 12 hours of work doing 10 different tasks, like I was telling myself, or like, oh no, reading an hour of a book isn't good enough on your days off. You got to do it for like 6 hours. You know, and I talked about in my last video how I was feeling pressured because I'd just be consuming more content, reading more books, thinking I had to optimize and improve every single area of my life. And that's just not the case at all. All you have to do is just be good at the certain task and just continue to do that and not expect any results for the next 6 months or 12 months. And I've been doing this for like, a couple months now, 2 months. And I went against my own rules, and I'm still learning. I'm still very fresh. I'm still very new in being disciplined and being consistent. I've always struggled with that for most of my life. And you know, I was able to do that for 2.5 months, and I finally ran into my first like official rut, I guess. So actually that is something I could be proud of, right? That I lasted this long. I'm very proud of myself. I've never done that in my life. like showing up and posting a video every single day. Like, that's not easy. Doing anything for every day for 2.5 months, like, especially for myself with ADHD, it's fucking difficult, but I know a lot of people struggle with that as well. So just be content with that. 2.5 months, it's a good time, but do it for 3 months, 5 months, 6 months, and slowly add in. Don't overwhelm yourself. I know, like, if you're trying to improve and you're not getting the results quick enough, you're trying to figure out different ways to, like, cheat the system and find a shortcut, but there literally is no shortcuts, and you're going to get yourself into a rut because you get sick of the hustle, you get sick of the grind, you let yourself just, like, have an enjoyable night for one night, and that turns into 2 nights, 3 nights, 4 nights, a week where you just do fuck all. And that's where I'm at now, overcoming this rut. And today's the first I felt somewhat more relieved because I felt really pressured because I knew as these days went by, they felt like forever. It's only been a few days, but it felt like these last 5 days just went for fucking 2 weeks. And I felt like a useless piece of shit. I wasn't journaling. And because I was feeling like shit, it was giving me no extra motivation to actually then fix the problem. I was eating more shittier food. I actually skipped one workout. Like, that's a big deal for me because I never skip a workout. Because usually going to the gym is the highlight of my day, but it got to a point where I didn't even want to leave my bed. So yeah, hopefully that helped. Take it simple. Just be consistent with the smallest actions. That shouldn't take more than a couple hours per day. Don't overwhelm yourself. You've got this. It is like Tony fucking Lee.